My dearly beloved child, be still for a moment, because today I have not come only to comfort you for a brief stretch of the journey, but to tell you that before you, a beginning far greater than anything you have imagined is unfolding. This is not merely a few small emotional changes, nor is it a passing season that will soon close like so many former ones. I am leading you into a deeper realm of life, where you will not only receive renewed strength but also be reshaped from within. What I am doing will touch the way you think, the way you love, the way you see yourself, and even the way your soul responds to the heavenly call. You will not simply carry away a few new lessons. You will gradually become a person who has been transformed. And this will not be born out of your own striving, but from my powerful and gentle hand working in the deepest hidden places of your heart. I know there have been many days when you were exhausted from trying to fix yourself, trying to become better, trying to prove that you are worthy of being loved. At times you thought that if you were not good enough, I would remain distant. If you were still weak, I would wait until you became stronger before drawing near. But my child, that has never been the way I love you. My love is not a reward reserved for those who get everything right. That love itself is the very place where all restoration begins. I loved you before you knew how to seek me, before your lips knew how to pray, even before you realized how deeply you needed me. Jeremiah 31:3 says, I have loved you with an everlasting love. And this is not merely a sentence for you to hear and feel warmed by for a moment, but a firm foundation on which you may stand. You do not need to make yourself shine before coming near to me. It is my presence that washes you, upholds you, and makes you new. I also see clearly how the world around you has filled your mind with noise. Every day, so many voices press into your heart, voices of outside standards, quiet comparisons, the fear of being left behind, the pressure to become like someone else in order to be accepted. Some voices never shout, yet they whisper long enough that you begin to believe you are still lacking, still too slow, still falling behind, still not valuable enough. And in the midst of all this, the quiet place within you gradually becomes crowded and narrow. You no longer hear my voice as easily as before, not because I have stopped speaking, but because your heart has become too full of unfamiliar sounds. That is why, today, what I invite you to do is not to run faster, nor to learn more clever ways to endure, but simply to stop before me. Psalm 46:10 says, Be still, and know that I am God. Some renewals do not begin with forceful action, but with a holy stillness, where you stop struggling and allow your soul to rest in my hands. Do not be afraid if you see that you have at times wandered through the mingled light and shadows of this life. I do not stand here to reproach you for the moments when you were confused, nor do I use your weakness as a reason to reject you. I understand the wounds that have dimmed your sight, the busyness that has left dust upon your soul, and the worries that have become like thin veils, hiding the light that still burns within. But listen carefully as I tell you this. The light I placed in you has never gone out. It may have been hidden, but it has never been extinguished. It has been quietly waiting for the day you return, patiently calling to you from the depths. I am calling you back, not back to a place on earth, but back to the true identity I placed within you from the beginning. You were not created to live forever in separation, in fear, or in weariness from chasing shadows. You were created in love, for love, and to carry my life within the very rhythm of your everyday living. Perhaps right now you are still hesitant, thinking that you are not worthy of something as beautiful as this. You look at the places within you that are still unhealed, the old habits, the times you stumbled, the things you quietly carry in shame, and you wonder how someone like you could ever step into something new. But my beloved child, a little child does not need to wipe away every speck of dust before being lifted into a father's arms. It is in the father's embrace that the child is sheltered, cleansed, and given peace. So it is with you and me. I do not ask you to save yourself before coming near to me. I simply invite you to come. As 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, "If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new." That newness does not begin when you are no longer weak. It begins when you are willing to remain in me. In that nearness, I change what you cannot change on your own, heal the places you cannot reach by yourself, and breathe new life into the places you once thought had become nothing but ashes. So now, do not try to analyze everything completely before you dare to believe. Be still before me, and let your heart sense the touch that is so gentle, yet so real, spreading quietly within you. It may feel like a tender warmth. It may be a peaceful calling you cannot quite put into words. It may feel as though a door long shut is beginning to open. Do not dismiss it. That is me entering the deepest chambers within you. Not with noise, not by force, but with power. I am beginning a work that you will come to recognize day by day. Your thoughts will grow clearer. Your heart will grow softer. Your breathing will grow lighter. And your soul will learn to rest more deeply in my love. You do not need to hold the entire map of the road ahead. You only need to give me your sincere yes in this present moment. The rest, I myself will gently lead you through. My beloved child, there are realities beyond what your eyes can see. Yet they are more enduring than anything visible hands can touch. People call them by many names, but deeper than every expression is the mysterious stream of life that flows from me alone. It is not confined within a mortal body, nor is it locked away by distance or circumstance. From the very beginning, I placed the breath of life within you. But what I desire to do today is not merely to keep you existing. I want to draw you into a deeper level of communion, where your soul no longer lives only at the surface, but begins to touch holy movements beyond what the senses can explain. I am inviting you into a new dimension, where you do not merely live, but come to recognize that this very source of life is flowing through you. For so long, you have moved through life by what you can see, hear, and touch. Those things are not wrong. They are gifts I have given you so that you may experience this world. But if you stop there, you may easily miss the deeper things my spirit longs to reveal. There are pains that never show on a face, cries for help that are never spoken aloud, and weary souls fading in the middle of a crowd without anyone noticing. That is why I want to awaken in you a new spiritual sensitivity. Ephesians 1:18 says, "May the eyes of your heart be enlightened." And that is also what I am doing in you today. I want the eyes of your heart to be opened, so that you will not only see with natural sight, but also perceive what lies hidden beneath another person's silence, so that your presence may become a refuge for the weak, a small lamp for those walking in dimness, and a quiet warmth for souls that have grown cold through pain. I know there are times when you cannot even make sense of your own heart. There are sorrows that come so quietly, sudden burdens that settle over you without any clear explanation. You may think it is only fragility, but often it is a sign that your spirit is becoming more sensitive to what is happening around you. I am teaching you to feel more deeply, not so that you will be drowned in emotion, but so that you may learn to discern. Some things come from the depths of your own heart, but some things are what you are sensing from the burdens of others, from the atmosphere you walk into, from souls that are silently groaning before me. And when I enlarge your heart, I do not leave you alone in the midst of all these movements. I give you wisdom to recognize what needs to be brought before me in prayer, what you need to lay down, and what I am urging you to answer with love. There will also be times when you realize that your peaceful presence alone is enough to bring relief to someone. You will not always need grand words. Sometimes a gentle look, a listening ear that does not rush to interrupt, a sincere touch, or simply your being there with a tender heart becomes the very channel through which my love flows. I do not teach you to love in ways that are merely beautiful in words. I teach you to love through the depth of mercy, through quiet strength, through a life that carries the cool breath of grace into dry and weary places. When I live powerfully within you, you will become like a quiet stream, softening hardened ground, like refreshing shade in the heat of the day. Others may not be able to explain why they feel at peace when they are near you, but it is because my light is touching them through your life. There will be moments, too, when you know something before anyone says a word, a faint inner sense, a gentle stirring within, a heaviness you feel when standing before a person or entering a certain place. Do not be too quick to dismiss these things as meaningless. When your heart remains close to me, I can prompt you in ways that are deep and quiet. At times I may let your heart grow heavy so that you will remember to intercede for someone. At times I may allow you to sense a heavy atmosphere so that you will understand that place is in need of my light and my peace. At times I may suddenly bring someone strongly to your mind, not by accident, but because I want you to become a bridge of support for them. Learn to bring these impressions back before me rather than holding them in confusion. I will teach you what should be spoken, what should remain silent, what should be lifted in prayer, and what only needs a heart resting quietly in love. But do not be afraid that if you feel too much, you will be emptied out. You are not called to love out of your own limited strength. The life you pour out does not begin with you, it begins with me. When you stay near me, you do not have to strain to become light. You simply reflect the one who is within you. John 7:38 says, "Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them." And that promise is for you. When you remain joined to me, that flow is continually made new. When you return to me in stillness, in prayer, in trust, I fill again the places from which you have poured out. Isaiah 40:31 also reminds you, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength." So you do not need to close your heart for fear of weariness. What you need is to remain in me. When you abide in the source, you will not love out of exhaustion, but out of fullness. And then your life, no matter how quiet it may seem, will still carry a different atmosphere, more peaceful, warmer, brighter, because I myself am flowing through you. My beloved child, I know there have been days when it felt as though every part within you was pulling in opposite directions. At times, your feet kept moving forward, yet inwardly you felt heavy. At times, your mind wanted to decide quickly, while deep in your soul there was a hesitation, as though something within was trying to warn you that something was not quite right. There were also moments when you tried hard to do what you believed was right, yet peace still would not remain. That does not mean you have failed, nor does it prove that you are too weak. It simply shows that you have lived too long in a state of being torn apart by pressure, by old memories, and by repeated reactions that have become patterns. But today, I am leading you into a different process, no longer living in pieces, no longer allowing the parts of you to war against one another, but gradually being brought back into one rhythm under my guidance. I did not create you so that your body would go one way, your thoughts would run another, and the deepest part of you would be left forgotten in some hidden corner. I created you with harmony from the very beginning, What I desire is not for you to merely appear well on the outside, but for your inner being to truly be set in order. When your body is given proper rest, when your mind stops spinning in endless circles of worry, and when your soul has room to breathe and hear my voice, you will realize that true strength does not come from forcing yourself to be tough, but from a holy inner wholeness. Psalm 86:11 says, "Unite my heart to fear your name." That is not only the prayer of someone long ago, it is also what I desire to do for you now, to gather together the scattered parts, heal what has been pulled out of alignment, and bring an end to the division within your life. You are often confused when, right after making a decision, uneasiness begins to rise, or when you choose a direction and suddenly feel your heart grow heavy. You think it is because you lack courage, but that is not always true. Many times, it is a sign that not everything within you is yet in agreement. The mind may be driven by reasoning, the body may be pulled by habit, but the soul is only at rest when it touches what belongs to the truth. I do not want you to keep living in a place where one part of you is trying to build while another is quietly tearing things down. I want to bring you to the place where what you think, what you choose, and the peace within you can meet. Wholeness does not mean there are no more cracks. Wholeness is when every part of you turns in the same direction, bows beneath my light, and learns to walk in the truth together. Do not think that, in order for this to happen, you must shut down your emotions or become cold toward your own heart. I have never told you to deny your tears, suppress your sorrow, or act as though you are not hurting. When your inner life begins to be set in order, your emotions no longer become the thing that leads you astray, but instead become signs that help you understand what you need from me. There are tears that do not come from weakness, but from the moment your soul is finally touched. There are moments when your chest tightens, not to drown you, but to help you recognize that something within needs to be brought into the light. When you stop resisting, stop denying, and stop pretending that you are still fine, then healing can truly begin. My deepest work is not done when you strain to appear strong, but when you are honest enough to be still before me. I have not forgotten either that this condition of fragmentation was not formed in a single day. It was built up through many days of endurance, through the times you forced yourself into silence, through habits born more from survival than from peace. So I am not asking you to become balanced overnight. The work I do in you is often quiet, but enduring. There will be days when you will clearly see yourself moving forward. There will be other days when it feels as though you have returned to the same old place. But do not lose heart because of that. True growth is not a perfect straight line. It is the journey through which I patiently lead you, where little by little your mind is renewed, your body grows lighter, and your soul is revived. Philippians 1:6 reminds you that he who began a good work in you will also bring it to completion. So what you need is not to condemn yourself when your progress feels slow, but to keep placing every part of your life into my hands each day. Remember this, my beloved child, your body, mind, and spirit are not three foreign parts forced to endure one another. They were created to serve together in a life led by my presence. When you learn to listen to your body instead of merely forcing it to endure, when you learn to pause with your thoughts instead of letting them drag you endlessly along, when you learn to care for your soul through prayer, stillness, and closeness with me, you will gradually begin to feel a different kind of peace. It is not loud, not dramatic, but steady. It is the peace of a person who is no longer fighting against themselves as much as before, because every part within is being brought back into the order of grace. And through that process, I am still here, not pushing, not abandoning you, but gently, leading you step by step into the wholeness I ordained for you from the beginning. My beloved child, there are some things I cannot place within your heart, while everything inside you is still full of movement. When your thoughts are racing after responsibilities, when worries are all speaking at once, when even prayer becomes hurried like another task to complete, then the deepest part of you is not yet truly open to listen. But in those moments when you stop holding yourself together by ordinary awareness, when night falls and the noise recedes, your soul often becomes softer to my touch. I have never been limited by day or night, by the hours when you are awake or when you are asleep. The one who formed your mind also knows how to move through all its hidden depths. That is why some nights may seem entirely ordinary, yet in truth, they are moments when I draw near to you in a way that is deeply hidden, deeply gentle, and deeply real. Remember how I once planted great things into the lives of those I chose through dreams in the night. At times, I did not explain everything immediately, but I placed within them an image, a sign, a ray of light for the future. Joseph, when he was still young, had no position, no influence, and no clear understanding of the road ahead. Yet I allowed him to see beforehand what natural eyes could not yet grasp. Those dreams did not make his journey easy at once. On the contrary, there was still the pit, the wandering, and the long years of being forgotten. But what I had sown did not die. It remained like a small flame, keeping his heart from sinking completely into darkness. So it is with you. Some of the things I show you in the secret place are not meant to satisfy curiosity, but to preserve a light in your faith when the present moment is not yet saying anything clearly. I do not speak to my people only in the temple, in the Holy Scriptures, or in the hours of gathering. All of those are precious. Yet I am still the one who delights in stepping into your life at the moments you least expect. There are times I use dreams to restrain, times to warn, times to reveal my purposes, and times simply to awaken a heart that has fallen asleep in the midst of life. Job 33:14-15 says that I speak in one way or another, in a dream, in a vision of the night. When deep sleep falls upon people, that word reminds you that I am not silent as you may think. Many times you imagine heaven has grown quiet, yet I am still touching you in another depth, where words are no longer interrupted by too many human thoughts. There are dreams you wake from and forget in part, yet their echo remains. There are images that last only a moment, yet touch exactly what you need to face. Do not be too quick to dismiss such things, simply because they come when you are not fully conscious in the ordinary sense. Even so, you must also walk with a watchful heart. Not every image in the night comes from the same source. Some things are only the result of accumulated stress, weariness, or fears that have never been named. Some dreams merely reflect what your heart has been carrying all day long. But do not let that cause you to close your heart to everything I may wish to reveal. I have given you the Holy Spirit to bring light, to help you discern, and to teach you how to recognize what is a call that leads to life and what is only a passing mist. When something comes from me, it will often leave within you a sense of clarity. Even if it is weighty, a sense of awakening. Even if it carries warning, an invitation to return, rather than a wave of panic that drives you into despair. James 1:5 says that if anyone lacks wisdom, let them ask of God, and I still give generously. So do not interpret everything in haste. Bring even what you see in the night back before me, and let me teach you how to understand it in my light. Even when you go through heavy dreams, images that jolt you awake with a trembling heart, do not think that I have left you. I am still there, closer than you are able to feel in that moment. There are things I allow to rise to the surface, not to drown you in fear, but to reveal the hidden places that still need healing. The pressures you have buried too deeply. The memories that have not yet been cleansed by my presence. Light is not afraid to enter the darkest place. Psalm 139 reminds you that even if you lie down in the depths, I am still there. So you do not have to let the night become a place where you are lost in fear by yourself. Invite me into your rest, into your sleep, into those unconscious places that even you do not fully understand. When I am present, even the places that once unsettled you can become ground for healing. So I want you to practice a habit that is very simple, yet full of power. Before you close your eyes, place that night into my hands. Do not offer me only the hours when you feel strong, but also the moments when you are at your weakest, when you can no longer control anything except a whispered surrender. You may pray as Samuel once did, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." Then when you wake, do not let yourself be swept away immediately by the pace of a new day. Stay still a little longer. Let your heart ask me gently, "Father, did you want to show me anything last night?" Sometimes I will bring an image back to your mind. Sometimes it will only be a sense of peace or a very gentle prompting. Sometimes nothing will seem clear in that moment. Yet later in the day you will begin to see what I quietly planted starting to unfold. Learn to treasure those silences, because very often it is there that you will become familiar with my gentle voice, a voice that does not force, does not draw attention to itself, yet is strong enough to lead your soul deeper into closeness with its Father. My beloved child, hear me say this in peace. You no longer belong to the prison of former days. What once held you captive is steadily losing its power, and my presence is making its way into your life with a tenderness that is quiet, yet constant. I do not come like a violent wind to force you to change in a single moment, but like the dawn softly touching the window after a very long night. You may not yet understand everything I am doing, and you may not clearly see the road ahead, but that does not hinder my work. I do not require you to grasp the whole journey before you can walk forward in peace. What I am inviting you into right now is far simpler than that. Lay down the tension in your soul. Stop straining to hold everything together, and let my love lift the heaviness within you, little by little. The deepest transformations rarely begin with loud sounds. They are usually born in the hidden depths. When your heart stops running and becomes still before me. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." It is in that stillness that I meet you, restore you, and place within you a new strength that you could never produce on your own. From this point on, your life will no longer be the same as it was before, because I am teaching you to live as one who is being raised up from within, not because you suddenly become strong by your own willpower, but because my spring is quietly flowing within your soul. You do not need to strive to produce light for others to see. When you remain in me, you do not have to force yourself to shine, because the new nature I am forming in you will carry that light on its own. Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world." I do not speak this as though it were merely a beautiful word of encouragement, but as a truth I want you to gradually receive. You do not need to prove your worth to the world, nor live in the exhaustion of performance, nor drain yourself just to be recognized. Live truthfully. Live near to me. Live with the awareness that I am walking with you in even the smallest steps. Then even the most ordinary stretches of your journey will take on a different quality. The work you do, the words you speak, the way you face others, and even the quiet steps you take through days no one notices, can all become beautiful in my sight when you walk in the presence of the one who loves you. There will still be days when you forget this truth. There will be times when old worries return. When the voices that once made you doubt yourself rise up again, and you feel more fragile than you did yesterday. But, my child, those moments do not mean you have lost all that I have been doing in you. They are only reminders that you need to return to your meeting place with me. When that happens, do not panic. Do not rush to condemn yourself. And do not think that just because you have grown weak, I have left you. Pause. Even if only for a moment, find a place of stillness for your soul, whether in secret or only in the deep quiet of your mind. And then speak to me with the smallest sincerity, Lord, I am here. That alone is enough to open the door again. I will hear you. I always hear you. I do not stand waiting to question you about how long you delayed or how far you wandered. I look at the present and ask you only one very gentle thing. Are you willing to return to me now? And when you answer with a yes, no matter how faint it may be, my healing work begins to flow in you again. Lamentations 3:22-23 reminds us that my mercies are new every morning. That also means my grace is not locked away by the failures of yesterday. My deeply beloved child, what I am planting in your heart is not meant for only a brief moment before it fades away. I speak into your life today so that my word will remain in the days ahead. Even when you can no longer remember every sentence exactly as it was spoken, truth that comes from me has a way of living long within your soul. Like warmth still lingering on the skin after the sunlight has softened. And when you truly begin to live from that deep place I have touched, you will see that renewal does not stop with you. A restored soul will begin to carry the breath of life to those around it. One who has been comforted will know how to comfort. One who has tasted grace will know how to be gentle with the wounds of others. 2 Corinthians 1:4 says that I comfort us in all our troubles, so that we may also comfort others. So your life will not only be the story of someone brought out of darkness, but also the story of someone who begins to carry light into places that were once cold, like a small lamp that makes a room less dim, like a drop of water slowly sinking into cracked ground. Your presence in my hands can become a blessing to many hearts. I am still here. My child, I am here not only when you are strong, but also when you are weary. I am here not only in moments when you pray with fervor, but also in the times when all you know how to do is sigh. I do not change with your shifting emotions, nor do I step back because of seasons of weakness. Hebrews 13:5 says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That is my promise for every beat of your life. I am in every heartbeat that knows how to love, in every word spoken with gentleness. In every breath you slow down long enough to remember that you are not alone. And I will continue to be there, patient, tender, and faithful, until the light I have kindled in you no longer shines only for you, but becomes a lamp to guide others as well. For you are not only one whom I have bandaged and raised up in my hands, you are also a vessel that carries healing. A testimony that grace can still cause flowers to bloom in a life that has known so much brokenness.